Hey guys, it's Chris at Highline Guitars. You're watching another one of my YouTube guitar building videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope that by the end of this video, I'll have earned the honor and privilege of your subscription. And of course, to everybody who's watching, if you enjoy this video or get something out of it, I would really appreciate it if you would take a millionth of a second of your time and click that thumbs up button. That really helps to support my channel without having to spend any money. And of course, if you'd like to help support the channel financially so that I can build more guitars, buy more tools, and do reviews and more videos, you can always visit my eGuitar Plans web store or my YouTube merch store. And there you can purchase plans for building guitars and tools and all that kind of stuff. And anything that you spend is going to help support the channel. There are links in the description below. Recently, I have gone down a rabbit hole, so to speak. I started to do research on high-end audio equipment, amplifiers, phono amplifiers, that sort of thing, speakers, all that. And recently I've gotten back into vinyl, and it's sort of a way for me to recapture my youth. The problem is the equipment I currently have isn't all that great, but it's sort of an entry into it. And I'm enjoying it enough to know that eventually at some point I want to upgrade. Now, the reason I bring this up and what this has to do with guitar building is as part of my research, I have been watching a lot of videos where folks are making their own equipment. They're making their own amplifiers, phono pre-stages, even some guys out there who are making their own turntables. And because I'm a DIYer, that sort of appeals to me. And what I've noticed is a lot of these YouTubers who are doing this sort of work, they'll do a video series much like the series that I make where I build a guitar. And what they're doing is very similar to what I'm doing in that they'll do, multiple episodes where they walk you through building, for example, a tube amplifier. But what I've noticed is when they finish building the amp, they almost never provide audio samples of what the amp sounds like. And I think the reason for that is pretty obvious. I'll get to that in a minute. As many of you know, when I finish a guitar project, I never provide audio samples of what the guitar sounds like. And the reason I don't is, well, there's a multitude of reasons why I don't. But the main reason is because I think it's totally ridiculous, if not completely stupid, to judge a guitar by the way it sounds over the internet, watching a YouTube video. Because I know that many of you watching this video right now are watching on your phone with earbuds, Bluetooth earbuds. Some of you are on computers and you might have a decent set of headphones. But that's just a terrible way to gauge the tone of a guitar. And I see so many videos that folks are making where they're doing comparison tests. They might be comparing different kinds of pickups. I just saw a video the other day. A guy sent me this video. We were having an argument about which sounds better, a neck-through guitar or a bolt-in guitar. And I was trying to impress upon him the fact that you can't judge the tone based on the neck joint. The tone is coming from the pickups. It's coming from the amplifier. And yes, you can maybe hear a difference when you play the guitar acoustically, but there are so many other reasons why you may hear a difference. It's not just that joint. At any rate, he sent me a video from another YouTuber who was playing two identical guitars, one that had a bolt-in neck and one that had a neck-through design. And they sounded very different. But what I was trying to impress upon this individual was that what the difference you're hearing may not be the neck joint itself. It could be the pickups or the playing style, the electronics, even the wood. Even though it's the same species of wood, there's a good chance the boards that were used to make those guitars were cut from different trees. So that can have a dramatic impact on tone. Anyway, what I was trying to impress was you cannot judge the tone of these instruments based on your earbuds or your headphones or your computer speakers. There's just too many things that can change the way it sounds. And if you're going to try to judge a component or an entire guitar based on what you're hearing in a YouTube video, you're just wasting your time. I think one of the reasons why the high-end audiophile YouTubers, the guys who are making, tube amps and even solid state amps for that matter, the reason why they don't provide audio samples of the work they've done is because they know that would be an insult to their audience, because their audience knows better. They know you can't judge the equipment that's being demonstrated in the video over the internet, over YouTube, because of the algorithm compression of the video, the quality of the devices and equipment that was used to record the audio, and then what happens when it's played through your iPhone or your computer or your laptop, and then the sound that comes out of the little speakers or your headphones and earbuds and all that. I think in the world of high-end audio, especially folks who are making their own equipment, the people watching, they can look at a schematic and they can tell what that amplifier is going to sound like. They know just by looking at the capacitors and resistors and the power source and all that stuff. They know what the amplifier is going to sound like when it's been completed. And oftentimes, and I noticed this doing my research, when I would read through the comments, there were people who would say, hey, you need to redo that power stage because it's going to cause too much feedback or hum, and this is how you should do it, and blah, blah, blah. Because they know, they can tell just by looking at the schematics what it's going to sound like and if there's going to be any potential problems. And then other times, the YouTuber themselves, while they're building an amplifier, will run into a problem. But then everybody in the comments can offer solutions that are based on their knowledge of how the electronics work and knowing what components or construction methods could change in order to improve the way it sounds. But musicians, you can't show them a pickup or how a guitar is wired and expect them to know exactly what that guitar is going to sound like. Because you would also have to include the amp head and the type of speaker. All that stuff would have to be included in order for a knowledgeable musician to be able to tell what it's going to sound like without actually having to hear it. I hope that kind of makes sense. I know it kind of gets a little bit confusing. But I read a statistic recently where in 2019, 37% of all guitar sales were over the internet. Now that was 5 years ago. It's 2024 when I'm making this video. I would venture to guess that in 2024, that percentage has probably increased closer to 50%, if not past it. That means a lot of people are buying guitars without actually holding the guitar they're buying in their hands. Sure, some of them will go to places like Guitar Center or other music stores locally and play a guitar, and if they like it, they'll see if they can find it cheaper online, which they usually can, and that's where they'll buy it. But as you know, you can lay out 5 Stratocasters or 5 Les Pauls or 5 PRSs, and every single one of them is going to sound different from each other. And they may even feel different. That's just the nature of guitars. So really, when people are buying over the internet, they're buying sight and sound unseen or unheard. It's a crapshoot. But I think a lot of folks know that when you buy a guitar online, If it doesn't sound the way you want a guitar to sound, there's a lot of things you can do to change it. You can raise the pickups, you can change the magnets, change the electronics, play it through a different amplifier, a different speaker, and you can dramatically alter the sound. You can play it through software and post-process it to get exactly the tone you want. You can even set up software to where it provides you the tone that you want in real time. You know, sure, there's a little bit of a latency there, but it's getting better and better with each new version of the software. At any rate, as far as tone is concerned, there's a lot you can do to change it. You can't change the way the guitar feels in your hands and whether or not you actually bond with the guitar. That's something you won't know until you have it in your hands. But we also know if we don't like the way it feels or if we're not bonding with it, you can trade it or sell it to somebody else who may appreciate it. You can sell it online and then repeat what you just went through with somebody else. So what I'm trying to say is judging tone over YouTube is preposterous. The only thing you should be doing as far as the sound of a guitar is just confirming that when the guitar is plugged in and the amp is turned on, that the guitar and the electronics actually work. But how it sounds, don't judge the guitar by what you're hearing in a YouTube video. That's one of the things that drives me crazy about these videos where somebody's comparing one guitar with another guitar or one pickup with another pickup. You don't know how they're recording it. You don't know what type of device they're using, what kind of editing they're doing to the software. You know, if I played this guitar and it sounded terrible after I recorded it, I could manipulate the way it sounds like you would not believe before I post it up to the internet. So when you watch a lot of those videos, ask yourself, is that really what the guitar sounds like? I did a video last year. It was a long video where I covered, or I showed how I had built the guitar that I made for Metallica. And I'll put a link to that video if you want to go back and watch it. But a lot of folks were upset that I didn't play the guitar at the end of the video. Well, the person who actually has the guitar in their possession right now recorded a video of them playing the guitar. Now, this person is not a professional guitar player, nor does he have professional audio recording equipment. So the audio didn't sound all that great. But what I did was I included a link in a pinned comment on that video. So if you want to hear what it sounds like, you can go watch the video, but then look at the comments, and that pinned comment has a link. Now, if you just want to hear what the guitar sounds like, I would encourage you to jump ahead in that video to about 7.5 minutes. And that's where the current owner actually plays the guitar. But what you'll notice is it was probably recorded using a smartphone in the owner's living room. And it sounds like it. It doesn't sound like it was a professional musician in a recording studio with professional equipment and then post-processed using professional audio processing software. As a result, it sounds the way it sounds. However, what I found interesting is that even with that link posted in the comments, nobody's really said that much about what they thought the tone sounds like to them. There aren't that many complaints about it. And I think that's because most people watching the video understand that it was recorded on a smartphone in the guy's living room and that he's not a professional musician. Now, I could take that audio clip and I could run it through software and I could manipulate it until it sounds absolutely amazing. I could apply some filters to it and make some adjustments and it would sound incredible. However, I'd be lying to you. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like to provide audio samples of the guitars that I build, because even though I wouldn't manipulate the tone, the mere fact that I could and the mere fact that you know that I could would seem to indicate the potential that there is, that what you're hearing isn't necessarily the way it actually sounds. So I just don't do it. And I would encourage you, all of you out there watching, to be highly skeptical of every guitar that you hear played on YouTube. They don't always, in fact, they almost never sound exactly the way you're hearing them played on the YouTube video. So really, when it comes to judging a guitar based on its tone over the internet, the only thing you should actually be doing is listening just to make sure that the guitar works. Don't pay attention to the tone, because that can be changed, it can be manipulated. And in fact, it most likely has. So that's basically the rant I wanted to get off my chest today. As you can tell, I've had some comments from viewers asking about samples of tone and stuff like that. And plus, I've find myself often arguing with people about where the tone in electric guitars actually comes from and what matters the most. So I hope you've enjoyed this video or got something out of it at any rate. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you hopefully in the next video.